You're listening to the Telltale Channel. Don't forget to check me out on all social media: Patreon, Twitter, Teespring, and Etsy. All links can be found in the description or on my website, telltaleatheist.com. So the next article I wanted to take a look at is by Hemant Mehta, again on the Friendly Atheist website. The title is "Trump Wants Churches Opened Up This Weekend, Even if Christians Get Sick or Die." So let's give the article a read and see what it has to say. Rarely is a politician eager to kill off his own base, but Donald Trump likely thinks promoting the idea of Christian persecution is worth the sacrifice of a bunch of elderly Christians who foolishly attend church this weekend, despite the very real threat of COVID-19. Trump said at a press conference this afternoon that he believed churches were essential. They're not, certainly not in the pandemic sense, and that they should reopen this weekend no matter what. If the internet didn't exist, then there might be an argument for people's strongly held beliefs, constitution, blah, 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 whatever. But the internet exists. In my opinion, that's all you need to make churches non-essential. The physical buildings don't need to exist right now. Bringing people together in a physical building is the stupidest, most dangerous thing you can do. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to do it anyways. Like going to the grocery store. We have no option to survive, to live. Church services can be held online, and you won't die. So anyway, let's continue. Trump said at a press conference this afternoon that he believed churches were essential, quote unquote. They're not, certainly not in the pandemic sense, and that they should reopen this weekend no matter what. Here's a quote from the White House Twitter account, I believe. "Today, I'm identifying houses of worship, churches, synagogues, and mosques as essential places that provide essential services." Nope. Although I'm extremely fascinated that he included mosques in there. It doesn't necessarily surprise me that he included synagogues. Sometimes I think he tries to appeal to like the Jewish base or whatever. Although a lot of his followers are pretty anti-Semitic and racist and things, so I don't know. I could see that going either way, but I'm very surprised he included mosques in that list because he's not a fan of Islam, and the people he's trying to appeal to with this move are also not huge fans of mosques. They're extremist evangelical Christians. They're always talking about how evil Muslims are. Ooh, just had a brownout in the house. I hope the power doesn't go out. President Donald Trump on Friday said he has deemed churches and other houses of worship essential and called on governors to allow them to reopen this weekend despite the threat of the coronavirus. "Today, I'm identifying houses of worship, churches, synagogues, and mosques, essential places that provide essential services," Trump said during a hastily arranged press conference Friday. He said if governors don't abide by his request, he will override them, though it's unclear what authority he has to do so. He cannot override governors. As we've come to discover in recent days, we live in a kind of federalist government, quote, states' rights, unquote. Conservatives have been fighting for states' rights for a really, really long time. Basically trying to, I think Newt Gingrich famously said, "I want the federal government so small that you can drown it in a bathtub." That's what they've been fighting for this whole time. That is the exact opposite of what Trump is doing right now. He's trying to make the federal government more powerful than it is. He has no authority here to say that churches are essential businesses. States decide that, not the federal government. So, anyway, he's an idiot. Said that 1,000 times on this channel. Trump is just a fucking moron. Let's continue reading. He doesn't have that authority. The people who constantly whine about states' rights don't seem to know how the 10th Amendment works. It's also weird that the same president who wanted to ban Muslims from entering the country is now pretending to care about their religious freedom. That is weird, right? That is really, really weird. It's really strange to me that he even mentioned mosques. It was a really weird move. I don't know. He could have just left mosques out of the equation completely and it would have been assumed probably, and it would have appealed even stronger to his evangelical base. It's just a really weird move for him to have mentioned mosques. Anyway, let's continue. For what it's worth, American mosques have, by and large, remained closed during this pandemic because they understand the health risk. Trump also added that we need more prayer, not less, not pointing out that God can presumably hear you from wherever you are, even if you're alone, and you don't need to be in a place of worship for your prayers to count, quote unquote. It's a really good point. Why do you need to be in church for your prayers to count? Doesn't the Bible say something about wherever two or more are gathered, I am with them? I don't remember what book, chapter, and verse that is, but I know it's in there somewhere. As it stands, churches that have already opened up have been notoriously awful about following safety guidelines, which is why we've seen many outbreaks at places of worship. And unlike getting groceries, you're not just going in and out as quickly as possible. The pastors who open their doors right now are ultimately putting their own members in harm's way. They don't care. They think this is about freedom because a lifetime of rejecting science has turned following sensible virus protocols into an anti-faith conspiracy theory. And Trump is eager to egg them on because his base is too ignorant to realize he doesn't give a damn about them. When asked where Trump would be attending church this weekend, by the way, he ignored the question. Big surprise! He claims to be Presbyterian. I have to take him at his word, honestly. But deep inside, I seriously doubt that he buys any of this shit. I suspect he believes in himself more than anything at all. When asked where Trump would be attending church this weekend, by the way, he ignored the question. Because of course he did. He's not putting his life in danger if he doesn't have to. He's fine with letting gullible Christians do it on his behalf. Since Trump and a bunch of pastors don't care about the lives of Christians, let me state the obvious. Stay home. Worship from a distance. Wear masks if you go outside. Respect social distancing. Consider the health of strangers because it's the decent thing to do. Or, go sacrifice a bunch of elderly Christians to own the libs. I don't understand the strategy, but a bunch of conservatives seem all too eager to embrace it. I agree, I don't understand the strategy either. They're just killing people around them. It's honestly really, truly sad. I wish that we could get through to people, but it's like an uphill battle. Sometimes I wonder if we're ever going to win. Every now and then we get a victory. I think the world is moving in a more progressive direction.